So regarding the shoot today, all will be revealed later on. We're just at the parking area to walk down to the place where we're going to take some shots. And this is what greets you. Come out landscape photography and what do you find? Bog seat, yeah? Some scruffy urchin has dropped some fine furniture and dumped it on the lay-by, knowing full well in this country the council will come up and clean it. Fly tipping, and it stinks. Disgusting. If anybody wants a toilet seat, slightly used, slightly smelly, let me know and I'll come and pick it up for you, send it to you. Oh, how I love the smell of dog turd in the morning. 95% of the time I end up standing in stuff like that. Hat kindly donated by my wife. I think it suits me. I'm going to try combo next time of blue hat and blue glasses. So we're here at Winscar Reservoir. I think it's called Winscar Reservoir. I'll check on the sign. Just above Meltham in Huddersfield. So, what are we using today? We are using a 5-year-old Sony NEX5N camera with a cheap plastic, I presume it's a 3-stop filter, it doesn't say on it. We don't have filter holder, we don't have polarizers, we don't have a tripod, we have a Gorilla Pod, and we have the Sony NEX, which has an 18-55 lens. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you, I hate this camera. It's loathsome, and it's loathsome because of the menu system. It's a touch screen. 99% of the functions are done by touching the touch screen, and it's fiddly and it's nasty, and it hasn't got a viewfinder, and not having a viewfinder when you like looking to get your compositions through a viewfinder is really rather annoying. But this is a test, and this is a test for people who watch videos online and think to themselves, well, there's no point in me even going out and taking pictures with my camera because my camera isn't like their camera. And that's true. I mean, it isn't like a lot of the cameras that are on YouTube. A lot of the landscape photographers are using some of the so-called best kit, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary at all to get good images. Don't get me wrong, using don't want to use the term better, yeah, using kit that isn't at the crazy end of the spectrum isn't going to affect massively the quality of the shots that you get. What it does is it gives you more flexibility. So having a tripod, for example, rather than a Gorilla Pod makes things a little bit easier. But do you need a Gitzo tripod? No, you don't. I've got a Manfrotto tripod, a travel tripod, that's not rated for my camera. And I've taken a picture of this bridge. It's won 2 competitions, People's Choice Award, and also finalist in 2 other competitions. And that was used with a Manfrotto tripod that's not even rated for the camera. Now, I don't recommend that because you can end up snapping something and damaging your camera if it falls off. But do I notice a major difference in image quality between using a Gitzo Mountaineer and that Manfrotto? No, don't. I also used to shoot with a crop sensor camera, a Nikon D5500, and again, images that I've taken with that have done very well in competitions and finals in competitions. A picture here This one was taken at Kynance in Cornwall earlier this year, without a polarizer on purpose because I wanted to get the glare in the water. That picture has done very well. That was without a tripod, in aperture priority mode, and taken with me knee deep in water to get the shot, and that's what made the shot, was the composition, not the camera and how expensive it was. And there were other people actually there when I was taking that shot, not that day, it was the day after, and they were all sat on a wall not too dissimilar to this with the tripods taking pictures of exactly the same thing. And I actually didn't stay because I didn't want to get in the way of their shot, because I wanted to go actually to the water's edge, so I went to the cove over the other side to get the shots that I wanted. So I think the ability with a camera to get good shots is your ability with a camera to get good shots, not the camera. So enough of me ranting on. What we've done is I have found several different locations around this reservoir here, and we have set the camera up at different mill settings. The only thing I don't like about this is, as I said, with my kit, is I've got flexibility. I like shooting at 16mm. I can't get the whole vista in here, which is what I like to do. But that's not the point of this shoot. The point of this shoot is to see whether or not you need an expensive camera to get a good image. The other thing that you will hear people say, and it might be true, it might not, is, oh well, if I had that camera, I would get images like that. Yeah, I think you would. I think the camera makes things easier. I'm going to do a video on my settings on the Nikon, and I switch everything off. I wanted a full frame camera and I wanted the flexibility, but when you end up switching everything that this camera does off, so I'm shooting manual focus, manual aperture, ISO 100 or 200 depending on where I'm at, then really you're only using the camera for the quality of the glass at the front. And you know, unless you're blowing images up to huge sizes, is it really necessary? Certainly not necessary online. And you've got an awesome picture that looks brilliant on your 4K 5K retina display on your computer, and then you send it in and it doesn't look good, it looks pants. Because you know, a lot of the quality of the image and a lot of the quality that you spend money on with a camera just disappears when it gets downloaded. So don't stress it. If you're going to take pictures, go out and enjoy taking pictures. Do you go out and take one picture? Or do you go out and take loads? It's what you enjoy. If you like to go out and take loads of pictures, take bloody loads of pictures. It don't matter. If you like to go out and plan everything to the nth degree and take one picture, that's fine, but I'm not going to criticise anybody for doing one way or the other. I actually come out and I look for opportunities. I don't particularly plan. I find that best laid plans and all that, you can go out and you can say, right, I'm going to go there because the sun's going to come up here, and then you get there and guess what happens? The sun isn't there. So you've wasted a 3-hour journey for one shot. So I prefer to go out and see what opportunity arises and then take the pictures. But other people don't, and I ain't got a problem with that at all. But what I don't like, and maybe saying don't like is too strong a word, what irks me a little bit is when people say that's what you've got to do. No, you haven't. You haven't got to do anything in life. You go out and you do what you enjoy, and don't let anybody put you off. If you go out and take 5,000 images and you get one, that's a lot better than going and wanting to take one image and then coming back with nothing. Yeah, so that's my rant over. Here we are with this here camera that I don't like, yeah, and as I said, it's on a GorillaPod, cheap, something stock filter, and I've tried to set this up as much as possible in manual mode, which means that we're shooting manual focus and also manual exposure. So at the moment if you can see the LCD screen, it's blown out, yeah, and that's because I've set the exposure for putting the filter over the front, like so, and then the image comes in like it disappears, comes in. Now, I don't recommend holding the filter in front of the camera. You're not going to get the best shots by doing that, but you know, you can buy cheap filter systems for 25 quid off eBay, or you can just buy the filters, and if you want, don't recommend it, but blue tack them on, stick them on if you're not a great lover and a great user of filters. But today, just for the purpose of this shoot, all the shots have been with the filter over the front, and just at the right time this blooming camera switches itself into standby mode. Now, for the purpose of this shoot, I have shot, as I say, mainly in manual mode. I have taken a few in autofocus mode. This isn't about me setting pin sharp images myself. This is about what do the images look like and are they acceptable when we get them into post-production. As you can hear, we were in self-timer mode, and that's because I've not got a remote release for this camera, so I want to eliminate camera shake, and job's a good one. And I've just lost my plastic sheet. Plastic sheet's gone down there. That's the plastic sheet for this. Now, it might be a cheap filter, but I don't want to scratch it. You know, I'm not made of money. Oh, now, oh. These images might come out absolute crap, and then we could all turn around and say, yeah, you need to buy a good camera. I'm not looking for award-winning images. I am looking for decent images. Flat light today, so it's going to be black and white, I think, and what we're aiming for, reflections off the water. Glasses fell off. Yeah. That's not the way to come down a slope. How come everywhere I go is always muddy? I hope you didn't catch me having a... To be honest, as my wife says, not much to see anyway. The moors around Huddersfield are pretty bleak this time of year. Pretty bleak actually most times of the year. The moor over in the distance is pretty famous for the wrong reasons. Okay, and here is the reason why it's famous. This little boy was kidnapped in the 1960s by two of the most evil people that the United Kingdom has ever bred, Myra Hindley and Ian Brady. They lived in Hattersley, which is just over the hill near Glossop, and they kidnapped these children and they abused them sexually and physically and murdered them and buried them up on the moors there. And it wasn't just this little lad here, they did it to numerous children, and unfortunately this little boy was never found. His body was never found, which is tragic. And unfortunately again, his mum died not knowing where he was. The father myself of a 7-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl. I just can't get my head around it. My heart goes out to not just that poor lady, but everybody who loses children for whatever reason, but certainly in those circumstances. And not to have your little boy or girl come home to know that they're lying on the moor somewhere on their own is heartrending. But not a lot more you can say.